All right, hey guys, and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the resources that I use to learn and practice Portuguese. So, this video is a repeat of a video that I uploaded a few days ago. In that other video, I practiced my Portuguese by talking about the resources that I use to learn. So, now I'm just going to walk through these resources, but I'm going to do it in English, and I'm also going to try to be more detailed when I talk about them. To start off, I started learning Portuguese about a year ago, but only started speaking it about 8 months ago. And when I started learning, the first thing that I used was Duolingo. Duolingo is a website and app that teaches you foreign languages by giving you translation exercises. It comes in a variety of languages, and it also comes in a variety of native languages. So, for example, in my case, if I speak Spanish, then I can search here for my language, which would be Spanish, and then I can choose whatever language I want to learn from there. So, in this case, Portuguese, we're going to go to my Portuguese course. I haven't used Duolingo in a while, so my tree probably has low energy bars in the different lessons. But basically, this is what a Duolingo tree looks like. Each little bubble represents a lesson. So, for example, basics, food, you, clothes, questions, present, dates, family, and so on. I'm just going to do a small review just to show how the exercises are like. For example, here I'm giving a phrase in Spanish which I have to translate to Portuguese. And here I'm giving a phrase in Portuguese which I have to translate into Spanish. Now I have to say whatever is written here, but in Portuguese. So, uma uva. This is kind of slow. And same thing, translate from Portuguese into Spanish. Ooh, sorry, wrote the wrong letter there. And now another thing they do is they give you a phrase which you can listen to and then write what the phrase said. My speakers are not working right now, so I can't really hear what the computer is saying, but you get the point. So this is basically how Duolingo works. You can use it on your computer, but you can also download the app on your phone or tablet. Personally, I prefer to do it on the computer or on a tablet rather than on the phone. I find I think it's a lot faster in the computer since I can actually type faster in my computer compared to how I type in my phone. The second resource that I started using was Easy Brazilian Portuguese. This is a series that you can find on the Easy Languages YouTube channel, and that series basically features people going through the streets of Brazil and speaking to strangers about a certain topic. So, for example, in this guy is going to go and ask people what would they do if they were invisible. What I like about this series is that it gives you an idea of how Brazilians speak Portuguese just naturally. So you're going to listen to a lot of colloquialisms, a lot of expressions, and you're going to get a good feel of how I would say a natural accent or the natural intonation of the language sounds like. So that's what I like about this series. When I actually started speaking Portuguese, I would listen to this. I would try to listen to one video basically each day. There are not that many videos. I think there are about 20, somewhere between 20 and 25 videos at the moment, but they are still uploading more videos. So more videos will come eventually. So that's Easy Brazilian Portuguese. Whoops. My third my third resource is a podcast from Brazil Pod called Tá Falado. And this podcast teaches pronunciation and grammar, Portuguese pronunciation and grammar for Spanish speakers. Now, even if you don't speak Spanish, the hosts of the podcast do their lesson in English. So it's still pretty helpful for you, whether you speak Spanish or not, or if you're learning both languages at the same time, then this is a great podcast for you. Tafalado currently has, it says here, 24 pronunciation podcasts and 20 grammar podcasts. And it's led by a professor at the University of Texas. I used to listen to this podcast at work. I just found it on my standard podcast app on the phone. All right, so basically, Easy Brazilian Portuguese and Tafalado are exclusive to Portuguese, but there are other resources that I use that can help you whether you're learning Portuguese or another language. So I'm going to talk about italki, which is a resource that I use a lot. italki is a website that connects speakers of different countries and different languages so that they can engage in language exchanges. So, for example, I can go search for a language partner. And in my case, since I want to practice Portuguese, I can write Portuguese here, find a language partner to practice, and just write Portuguese. And where it says learning, just whatever language I want to speak with that person. So I would put English or Spanish. And I can also select native speaker. I don't know why I chose that. And that's going to give you a list of users, of italki users who speak Portuguese. You can see the green here that stands for native language, and who are learning your language. In this case, I put English, so you can see the languages that they're learning and the level that they are currently at. You can view their profiles and you can send them a message and just get in touch with them. You can also find teachers in italki if you are willing to invest a little bit more time and money into it. So the process of finding a teacher is the same as finding a language partner. Just put whatever the teacher teaches and languages that the teacher may speak. In this case, it can be either English or Spanish for me, so I'll just put Spanish. And that's going to give me a list of teachers that teach Portuguese, but who also speak Spanish. So they can give me the lesson in my native language, which is Spanish. You can see next to the teachers, you can see the rates, their hourly rates. You can usually each lesson lasts for an hour, but there's also a 30-minute trial option. Also, normally you'd have to schedule the lessons with 24 hours in advance, but if you are in a hurry, then there is a thing called instant tutoring. Now, with instant tutoring, you can basically select a teacher and begin a lesson immediately. Usually, these lessons are held through Skype or through some other video chatting service, but you would basically, you would decide on that with the teacher. So that is italki. There are some other cool features that italki has. It has articles for language learners. You can choose language specific articles or just general language learning articles. And there's a thing called a notebook. Now, in a notebook, you can write something in your target language and native speakers will correct it for you. So I'm going to look for my notebook entries. So for example, I would write my Portuguese practice entries here and I would get corrected. So just as an example, I wrote this little paragraph. I got some comments and I also got some corrections. So people can take what you wrote and correct it. See here, here, and here. So it's a really good resource. And also it has an answer section where you can ask questions. So you can see this example right here. And normally, in very little time, people will answer. So another resource that it has is a discussion board. And the discussion board is, well, as the title says, a discussion board. So you can write whatever it is you want to discuss and people will, eventually comment on it. So here's an example. So that's italki. Now, After I finished the Tafalado podcasts, I started to get kind of bored because I didn't have a podcast to listen to in my target language. So I downloaded the My Tuner Radio app. Now, this app connects you to radio stations from around the world. This is the website. I normally use it on the phone, not the website, but I guess the browsing method is the same. You can apply a filter, you can search the country that you want. In my case, I would put Brazil. If you want to be more specific, you can search for a specific city or specific genre of music of radio. And these are the stations that are available. Normally, I just put one of these radio stations and have it in the background when I'm at work. So yes, these are the free resources that I use to practice Portuguese. Another resource that I like to use is, well, series. I like to watch series that are dubbed in Portuguese. So, for example, I like to watch The Simpsons, dubbed in Portuguese. And I normally try to choose series that I've already seen in English or that that I know about, series that I know about, so that I can have an idea of the context of the episode that I'm watching. So I think that's all for today. I hope that these resources are helpful, whether you're learning Portuguese or whether you're learning any other language. And that's it. Tune in next time as I keep uploading videos of language learning and my progress and my mistakes. Thanks for watching and good luck with your language learning.